Ah yes, this is the YouTube channel that almost every single Thomas fan knows to this day. This channel went on a vast journey of full upscales, facing termination, and fighting with fake channels. But what exactly is this channel, and how did we end up where we are today? Well my friends, this is ThomasHDClassics. So what exactly is ThomasHDClassics? Well, ThomasHDClassics is a YouTube channel that has provided lots and lots of restored high-quality episodes of the aforementioned series, Thomas and Friends, mainly the Model series. So starting from Season 1, all the way to the end at Season 12. He has also uploaded some movies on his channel, as well as some sing-along songs. He also goes by Connor on his Twitter account, which many of his friends call him by, and for the sake of this video, we'll call him Connor too. He created the channel on August 27th, 2014. His channel included both the US and UK dubs of the show. He even included some obscure early narrations from Michael Angelis and Ringo Starr. Unfortunately, these videos at the time had a cost. They were blocked in certain countries, specifically New Zealand and Australia. But aside from those people, everyone else enjoyed them as much as we did. So without further ado, let's start at the very beginning. So in early June of 2017, Connor got a start on his brand new channel, which he so called ThomasHDClassics. Many people at the time did not know what the channel was about, but would soon come aware of what it was in the coming years, but we'll get to that in a bit. Naturally, he started uploading the entire Season 1 in both the US and UK dubs, following after that the rest of Season 2 and Season 7. After that, however, Connor unanimously announced that this would be the end of his uploads from his new channel, and everyone thought this would be the end of ThomasHDClassics. Or so they thought. So somewhere in 2018, many viewers watching the videos commented down complaining on the overuse of saturation and the slightly lower quality on some of his videos, making them less of an HD classic. Connor naturally saw all these comments and announced to everyone that he would redo all the episodes that he had done so far, and that ThomasHDClassics would be back under a new light. It definitely would take some time though, a good 2 years in the making. But alas, the day finally came. So in early spring of 2019, Connor announced on his Twitter page that ThomasHDClassics would be getting an extreme makeover, using a new state-of-the-art upscaling software that would properly color correct and adjust some minor tweaks in his videos to make it the best quality videos found on YouTube. This was groundbreaking at the time, as no one really ever saw classical Thomas videos in full HD before, until this brilliant chap came to save the day. And just a quick side note, all of Connor's previous uploads back in 2017 can still be found on YouTube, albeit only the US dubs. This user by the name of Donald9Douglas10 contains all of Connor's previous uploads before his major redux. Link to the channel will be in the description. And with this new software Connor used, came some better quality videos. For comparison, here's a screenshot of the very first episode from the 2004 restored version of Thomas and Friends. Now here's a screenshot of Connor's take of it. As you can see, lots of vast details can be seen between the two shots. Like the amount of detail put into it, the color correcting, the shading, everything was almost perfect to be a complete HD episode of classic Thomas. And before I explain about the new episodes that he uploaded, the channel had already reached a milestone before these new episodes were released. On May 7, 2019, ThomasHDClassics hit 10,000 subscribers. Now that may not sound so big as like some other channels out there, but as a Thomas channel, it's amazing to hear that classical Thomas has gone this far, and we're only just scratching the surface. Now, onto the episodes. Like true Connor fashion, he started uploading the entire Season 1 through Season 7 in both the US and UK dubs, just like his last uploads. But this time, there was a catch, and it's very evident in his channel banner, Series 8 to 12 coming soon, which definitely confirmed that he would be uploading the hit era of Thomas and Friends as well. Now here's a montage on the work that he has done on these hit era videos, color correcting and all. Okay, you get the picture. After the hit era episodes, there were 2 more special uploads on the way, and with the help from YouTube and Twitter user Tenley10, Connor uploaded both The Great Discovery and Calling All Engines in both the US and UK dubs respectively. The reception from the fans was outstanding from the amazing quality videos that Connor has provided. From once starting as a basic Thomas channel with basic quality videos to being one of the biggest Thomas channels of all time is really fascinating to a lot of people, including myself. With all 12 seasons of Classical Thomas free to watch on YouTube, everyone unanimously agreed that these huge videos would stay forever as the best quality Thomas episodes of all time. But what happened next would change Connor's life forever. On April 27th, 2021, some of Connor's videos have been copyright claimed by Mattel, including the first ever upload he did, being Thomas and Gordon Restored in UK, as well as some complete series videos. When people initially saw this, they were worried. They kept asking themselves, could this be the end for Thomas HD Classics? After all, he posted on a community post that he had just received his second copyright strike, and everyone knows once the third strike hits, it's over. But it didn't sound so serious at the time, as Connor simply said that he would just re-upload the content that was taken down and everything would be fine. But everything was not fine, however, as there was nothing he could do to prevent disaster. On May 6th, 2021, Thomas HD Classics had been terminated by Mattel, and Connor received his third and final copyright strike. The cause of the third strike is currently unknown, but what it did for Connor and the entire Thomas fandom as a whole was one of the worst things we've seen in the last decade. All the work that Connor did uploading the first 12 seasons of Thomas and Friends in upscaled restored HD was now just a pile of sand blowing away in the wind, and at the same time, lots of fans were devastated that their main source for Thomas episodes was now gone, and they didn't know what to do. Also, Connor's main channel, Napfer Productions, was also terminated, being under the same email as Thomas HD Classics. Again, lots of quality videos were deleted from YouTube, and the future for Connor was looking grim. The channel ended up with over 38,000 subscribers and over 250 million views on YouTube, which is very impressive, especially for a Thomas channel like this. But with Connor's work all deleted by YouTube, everyone truly thought that Thomas HD Classics was no more. Now normally, I would say that this is the end for Thomas HD Classics, but for those of you who knew about me last year, and probably why you clicked in this video in the first place, you would know that this is not the end of the story. I should throw up this for the rest of you though. Warning, what you are about to see is some drama that I caused between July and August of 2021. If you would like to skip this section of the video, please go to the timestamp seen on your screen right now, but otherwise, you have been warned. After Thomas HD Classics was deleted from YouTube, many channels tried to re-upload his content for the sake of having it preserved, but Connor was rather frustrated about these re-uploads. In fact, he even felt a little offended by this. His reasoning for this was that since he dedicated so much work reworking the whole model series in full HD, having it re-uploaded by someone else in 2 minutes just felt like an insult to this guy. The biggest offender of this being Taylor Kennedy with his complete series videos. Link to the channel will also be in the description. Now I totally get where Connor was going with this, but I have a slight problem with this claim, and I'll talk about it later in the video. Now I didn't know much about YouTube back then, so I was all new to making content on YouTube. But when I started YouTube, I made one of the most dumbest decisions ever in my life. So somewhere in July of 2021, I made a live stream in collaboration with one of my friends at the time named Fish Productions. That night, we were having just a normal conversation as we usually did. But then had a question. Now I used to re-upload Connor's videos to my channel before I was aware of Connor's frustrations, and asked me how I got Connor's videos after he got terminated about a month ago. Initially, I thought it would be a funny joke if I told him that I was actually Connor when I really wasn't. But when I told him that night, he actually took the bait. He actually believed that I was the man himself, but because of that, it was the sole reason why everyone in the Thomas fandom hated me. I impersonated Connor. Now, being a small channel at the time, I didn't really think that people would actually catch on to this, but man was I wrong. Many users, including Connor himself, have noticed my wrongdoings and basically thought of me as a pathetic loser. With all the backlash coming from the fandom, I wrote an apology message via Twitter DM, and Connor initially accepted my apology and decided to forget about it. And with that, I also deleted all of Connor's stolen videos from my channel. Now you would think that this would resolve everything, but because of my idiotic decisions, things got a whole lot worse. On August 13th, 2021, I stumbled upon Social Blade, which is a website that tracks down any YouTube channel statistics, and for curiosity's sake, I thought I'd search up Connor's channel to see what I can find. And what I found was that he was supposedly making $4,000 to $70,000 a year. Now when I saw this, it changed my perspective on Connor entirely. At the time, I thought he was just manipulating people and making money off of these copyrighted videos and literally breaking the law. And I expressed those feelings on a Twitter thread on the same day. But of course, the fans were not happy at all.
Bull Papa, what the absolute
Yeah, it was bad. It turns out that Social Blade does not track down if a channel is monetized or not, but does track down how much money the copyrighted videos make from the owners like Mattel. So Connor was making absolutely no money in his videos. So yeah, another idiot moment made by me. And because of my foolishness, literally everyone in the Thomas fandom went out on me and thought I was one of the worst people in the fandom so far, and that still holds true for some. Instead of me trying to cancel Connor, it was the entire fandom who cancelled me. In addition, one of my friends at the time, Judah Hughes, was harassing Connor in his Twitter DMs in his attempt to defend me, but in a rather childish way I might say. Now I didn't encourage him to say any of these things so harshly as he put it, and looking back on it now, it almost feels like that he was more damaging than I was at Connor, but that's a whole different spectrum on its own. After the incident occurred, me and Judah Hughes didn't talk for the past month or two, until finally I decided to interview him and shed some thought prior to making this documentary, and this is what he had to say.
Well, after the incident, I tried to be more careful with what I said on Twitter, as Twitter is an easy place to get canceled. I don't regret using my free speech. I do regret maybe saying some things I shouldn't have said, but which kind of sounds hypocritical, but how I recovered after that was I tried to not think about it and tried to leave it in the past, which is what I tried to do with the blue puffball. The only reason I ever DM'd Connor and sent an angry letter like, "Oh, I hate you, you should be in jail now," is because I was just trying to defend my friend, even though what I really should have done is let his consequences catch up with him and not gotten involved. But how I recovered was I just didn't focus on that, and I tried to put out some more quality content.
After apologizing to Connor in his DM, he stayed true to his word. Judah went off on his own tangent and created a comedy channel and made more original videos on his own. Link to the channel will be in the description. As for me, Connor gave me some helpful advice to help change myself around, like hanging out with friends, going on vacation, making some new friends, and just giving myself an overall break on the internet. And so I did just that. And when I returned on December that same year, I focused on more original videos like my violin covers, my YTPs, and some other miscellaneous stuff too. But what I did for Connor and the entire Thomas fandom as a whole was really traumatizing to say the least, and I definitely learned that it's easy to cancel someone and the negative impacts it can leave for someone is huge. I have made countless amount of apologies to all the people I've been rude to, and tried to overall change my image. It definitely took a while to do that, but after many months of changing myself, I can safely say that I've made a full recovery from my past actions. Now while I said that Connor is a hardworking guy that impressed lots of people in the Thomas fandom, that doesn't make him a perfect person. Now let me first emphasize that these problems don't necessarily make Connor a bad guy, but there are definitely some aspects of this channel that are very questionable to me that people tend to forget about. Now, remember how I said a lot of channels tried to re-upload Connor's content after getting removed by Mattel? Well, there's the first problem I have. Connor does not appreciate the people that re-upload his content even for the sake of having it archived. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of small channels that steal videos from other big channels that are still a problem on YouTube to this very day, so I totally get why Connor was so furious about these re-uploaders. But what Connor doesn't understand is that these people weren't using his videos to impersonate him, but to keep it preserved as lost media. But yet Connor does not appreciate that these people are literally trying to save his channel. I'm sorry, what? These channels have gone out of their way to help Connor by preserving his content on YouTube, and yet he doesn't show any respect for any of these channels who are trying to help him out in a tricky situation. That's like if I was trying to say I was preserving an old steam locomotive, but then Connor being the owner of it saying he would rather have it dismantled than restored. It just baffles my mind how Connor would rather have his footage taken down than being archived. Which leads me to my next problem that I have. And this next problem doesn't only include Connor, but other channels that upload Thomas content as well, that being Thomas HD Media and the Thomas TV Patrol. These three channels are great in their own way in providing high quality episodes and airings for the general public to enjoy, but they all share one major problem, and that's how they deal with copyright. So when someone re-uploads one of the channel's videos, for instance Taylor Kennedy, they would often comment saying that it's their footage and asking them to take down the stolen videos. Now that would be okay if it was original content like Rolling Stock made by Osrail Animations, since it's their original work and they can take down the stolen videos with no problem. But that's simply not the case with these channels. These channels upload copyrighted Thomas content that is currently owned by Mattel, and by saying it's their footage, that would imply that they have full ownership of these videos, which in fact they don't. They can't just simply take down a video from another re-uploader, as the copyright is still on Mattel and will always be on Mattel until the end of time. Saying that it's their footage is completely unjustified not only to the re-uploaders, but even towards the original creators like Britt Allcroft and David Mitten, and if they saw what was going on right now, they would be on a complete rampage. Overall, these channels may have a good personality and provide lots of quality Thomas content for everyone. It's just sad to see how they treat the copyright system of Thomas and Friends and make it feel like they're the ones that own the show. Okay, let's talk about something positive. On Christmas Day of 2021, Connor revealed to everyone on his Twitter page that a brand new channel was created under the same name, ThomasHDClassics. To pretty much everyone, this was the biggest Christmas present a Thomas fan could ever receive. As of right now, the channel has just over 500 subscribers and a channel banner boasting a new look coming soon. The channel doesn't have anything uploaded right now, but will release some episodes somewhere in 2022. Link to that channel will be in the description. With many people, including myself, being very anticipated for the new Thomas HD Classics, we can only hope for the best of Connor's latest work. And before I sign off with this video, there's just one thing I have to say. As a Thomas fan, you all know that I had the roughest start when I began my career on YouTube and Twitter, but I've learned a lot of things along the way. From impersonating big channels to being a huge jerk on Twitter to making a full recovery on my YouTube channel, it would seem that I had a bit of a train ride on me, no pun intended. But during that time, I also saw a lot of fights amongst the Thomas fandom, and they were not the most pleasant to see. But we shouldn't even be fighting in the first place. We are not trying to fight a war amongst the Thomas fandom, and we shouldn't be. This was clearly not Wilbert Audrey's intention. In fact, if he was still alive, he would be rolling around in his grave at this point. Now, as of when this video was made, it has been 1 year after Thomas HD Classics got terminated by Mattel, and for channels like Thomas HD Classics, they all like to serve one purpose. And the purpose of uploading Thomas episodes is not just to have free Thomas episodes on YouTube, nor is it for entertainment purposes, but as a way to reunite the Thomas fandom and make it prone to everyone watching these videos that the Thomas fandom will forever stay no matter what the cause. Of course, there might be some other channels out there that want to create Thomas content as much as the bigger channels do, and some will also get enjoyed by the fans to come. But pretty much all of them know that the true champion of Classical Thomas will forever remain in Connor's hands. And fans of all ages will remember this channel and how Classical Thomas was the best thing in their childhood, and for other generations to come, they will be reminded of this legendary channel. And that, my friends, is the end of the story for Thomas HD Classics.